All right, looks like we
All
are
right.
good.
We're live. All right. Sweet. So we just got done recording our NBA podcast. Go check that out. We get into some good discussion in that one. Right now we're going over NFL though. There's very little NFL news to go over, but we are going to do our divisional predictions for next year. We're probably going to do some more towards the kind of after the preseason, just because like injuries and stuff like that. But we're going to do our early predictions for the playoffs. So. All right. So first things first, we got the Jets fire the GM and hire Adam Gase as the interim GM. All right, Dakota, why don't you take it away on this?
That like the story behind all that with like, because we'll get into that with Le'Veon and stuff, but like the
Yeah.
fact that you let like you're gonna let Adam Gase's opinion weigh that much, but you're gonna wait until you let your GM sign Le'Veon. You're gonna let him draft. You're gonna let him spend a lot in free agency. You're gonna let him draft 6 players, and then you're gonna wait a couple weeks after the draft. And then decide, you know what? Adam Gase's opinion matters more than our GM's. We're gonna go a different direction now. Like the timing out of it all was just confusing.
It was bad.
Like
It
the
was
things
bad.
must have been rough there, but that just shows how much the owner like has bought into Adam Gase. That's what
Yeah.
it shows. Like they want him more than they wanted their GM, and I thought the GM had been doing a decent job the past few years. Like, I mean, Sam Darnold pick looked pretty great now and stuff, but like
Yeah.
it's also interesting to name him the interim GM. I thought that was
Yes,
that
that was
shows
interesting.
everything because it's like
Yeah.
usually the owner will like take that or the BP like player personnel president like somebody like that will take over that job, but like letting Adam Gase be the interim one, like they are really investing in Adam Gase. Like that's extremely interesting to me.
Yeah, it is. What do you think about it, Austin?
You know what? I think with Dakota saying the timing of it, I think that's the main thing. Is like, well, why couldn't it have done earlier after all these decisions been made? I think that's the biggest thing. Uh, Hopefully it don't hurt him, but I mean I can see like just in this off season, it's gonna hurt him. It'll backfire. It'll do something. It'll end up messing him up. I don't know how they got Le'Veon in the first place, but I mean something's gonna happen. Just don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, the timing of that is just all wrong. Should have done it way before if they were gonna do it.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
sorry. Yeah,
No,
it's
you're
just
good.
like in terms of hiring a new GM too now. Like that's gonna if they don't plan on surely they're not gonna let Adam Gase do both. But like,
Uh,
how hard
looks
is
like they are.
I mean, if they do, then that's going to be taking the NFL in a different direction, which is going to be really interesting. But in terms of if they plan on hiring a guy, like, how are you going to be able to hire a GM whose job is going to be below the head coach? Because that's essentially what they've shown. Like, who's going to want to be a GM where the coach has authority over them? Like, that's
Nah,
going to be,
because that's not how it works.
yeah, and then if you keep him as it, that just changes the way you do the NFL, and that's just it's going to be interesting. I think it'll hurt him, but it's interesting.
Do the Patriots not do that? Isn't Bill Belichick a double role? Kind of, he like chooses all the player, or am I wrong about? He drafts the players, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Like, I don't think he may actually be just listed as the GM, but like
I doubt
Bill
it.
Belichick. I'm actually gonna check that because I'm curious. Because I know, like, I mean, you have situations like the Cowboys with Jerry Jones.
Yeah,
But I mean, obviously, if you have Bill Belichick as the guy who's your GM, then it's a little bit different than if Adam Gase is your GM.
well, definitely, 100%. So let's get into the Bell thing real quick while you get that up. So Gase, the biggest problem, he had to be undermining the GM and talking to the owner and feeding the owner. That was obvious. So the biggest issue was that Gase didn't want Le'Veon Bell on the team. Like, he didn't want Le'Veon Bell at all. And that it's reported that he might actually trade him if there's a suitable team out there. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, it could happen. I mean, the Jets there are at the bottom. I mean, they're at the bottom of the NFL. I mean, what's going to get them up there? You think Le'Veon's going to get them up there? No. They'll just be like top 5 of the top bottom. Like, that's it. So, I mean, I don't know what they got to do. They got to start rebuilding. But they're one of those franchises where they can say they've been rebuilding, but they're going to be saying that for 10 plus years. So I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. If they trade him, they trade him. But I mean, I don't think they're going to get game changers for it. I mean, they need a whole lot. They need a whole lot.
Sure do. They sure do. All right, what you got, Dakota?
So just to clarify, yeah, it's listed Bill Belichick as head coach, and then it's listed as de facto general manager. So it's like he doesn't have the title,
yeah.
but like
Yeah.
But about the Le'Veon thing, like, first of all, like, if Adam Gase was sitting there, like, that just doesn't make sense to me to wait until this point. And if you're going to take his opinion that much, you should have thought about that more before you went and signed him to a $55 million contract.
Yeah,
Because now it creates
absolutely.
a problem. Like, it's not the same at all as, like, the Brock Osweiler thing, where they traded him and had to give up something just to get the numbers off the books. But if teams know now that they don't want Le'Veon, like they just signed him this huge contract, they don't want him, they're not going to give you anything.
Lose leverage.
Yeah, and they're not going to want that giant contract, all of it.
No.
So, like, if they want to get rid of the whole thing, they may have to give up stuff, too, just to get rid of Le'Veon, which at that point, it's not worth it.
It's not worth it. No, it's not worth it. I think they got to give him a year to see how he changes the offense and see that. But to be honest, and let's get into the next topic, like, because it seems like both New York teams are just a huge, huge train wreck. To be honest, man, how I see all of it just proves how dysfunctional the Jets are. Like, all of it just shows how the dysfunction of the Jets and how, like you said, Austin, they're a bottom team, man, and they're going to stay that way. And honestly, you look at the Patriots and their dominance. Well, a lot of the dominance has to do with the incompetence of the other teams in the division, like the Jets. The Jets are an incompetent franchise, and they have been for a very long time, dude. I mean, when's the last time the Jets have been good? Can y'all? I mean, besides the AFC Championship appearances with Dirty Sanchez,
Joe Namath.
Literally, the last time that was Joe Namath. So it's like the Jets are a dysfunctional franchise, and if I'm free agents, I'm staying out of New York, period, because the Giants and the Jets look. I mean, see, the Giants aren't necessarily dysfunctional, but they're just ran terribly by David Gettleman. I mean, he's a terrible GM, no question about it. But the Jets,
Lakers of the NFL.
I mean, yeah, honestly, or you can just say the Knicks, the NFL. I mean, the New York franchises are pathetic. The best New York franchise right now is the Brooklyn Nets. So yeah, I think in my opinion, it's like
New York Rangers.
Yeah, I don't know anything about hockey. Sorry, hockey fans. We'll get it on the pod soon, or never. Anyway. Yeah, man, the Jets are just a mess. That's all I can say about it. It's kind of comical at this point. It's like, like you said, I think the biggest thing you guys mentioned was the timing. Like, if you didn't want this GM, he should have been fired before the draft and before free agency, and you should have got somebody else in there. Honestly, Coda, my prediction, if I had to make a prediction right now, I think they're going to make Adam Gase the full-time GM. I think he's going to make personnel decisions, and I think it's going to be because I think they're going to follow the New England model. And it's like I don't think I would put my faith in Adam Gase, like you said, but we'll see. All right. So another NFL news is the Flacco and Locke drama. So I'll just go over that just a little bit. So Joe Flacco came out and said that it's basically not his job to mentor to the backup quarterback. It's not his job to mentor to the young guy. So Austin, what do you have to say?
Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, okay?
Except like the ghetto version of that.
Yeah.
Flacco and Locke.
Yeah. Locke ain't gonna be no Rodgers. Flacco ain't no Brett Favre.
Exactly.
Ain't happening. But bruh, come on now. What do you mean, dude? These people are petty. I don't know why they gotta do stuff like that. Like mentor people. Like help them out. Jeez. Yep. Like I just don't understand that. That just thinks to me that he's just a bad person. Like I don't know why. It's just kind of dumb.
All right, Dakota, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think it's funny because, like, he literally just had that happen to him. Where, like, if he was mentoring Lamar at all, then, like, he basically just lost his job to him. So I slightly get that. But at the same time, like, with Favre and Rodgers, stuff like that, too, like people that take him under, like, I think Peyton slightly did it with Osweiler. Like, if you know you're not losing your job. Like, you're the guy. Like, this scrub's not taking your job. You're Brett Favre.
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
It's a lot easier, too. So, I mean, I guess I'll give him a little slack for that, but, like, it doesn't, like, that's not the type of teammate I want at that point. Like, if you're not willing to help the guy behind you,
right.
What if you get hurt again? Like, you need a competent backup that can still go win games, and if you're refusing to help the guy out behind you, then you all are just going to be terrible, and, like, it's just sad. Exactly.
So,
Elway takes him under his wing.
Yeah, if he does get hurt, Like that is a good point. If he does get hurt, it's like, oh dang, well you just trashed this guy. And now you hope he goes wins the game or something like that.
Yeah, my opinion on the whole situation is this: it clearly shows that Joe Flacco, like you said, he's kind of got some PTSD from the Lamar Jackson situation. When they ask him about Drew Lock, he gets a little triggered, and he doesn't want to really talk about it all that much. So I think here's the thing: I think he's insecure in his position, which he should be. Joe Flacco, you're a game managing quarterback, and you're on your way out of the NFL, so you should be insecure in your position. And Drew Lock is definitely going to be the next guy. I don't necessarily believe in Drew Lock, but I mean I can understand why Joe Flacco's a little insecure because he's a bum quarterback. Nobody wants Joe Flacco, and I have no idea why. Well, I have no idea why John Elway traded for Joe Flacco. I don't understand that at all. So, I'm guessing those boom boxes aren't holding up for you, Austin.
Dude, it ain't, man. It ain't.
What make the trade even make less sense is that you literally just went and got Case Keenum. Like you got some other scrub old ass quarterback that did, and then you just let him leave. You're like, all right, you can go.
That's
the logic of what they
just
keep
weird.
doing, where they just keep taking these old quarterbacks, and they're like, you know what, you're bad. We'll take you.
Because John's trying to find the next Peyton. It's like I mean, come on, Jeff Flacco's not Peyton Manning. Like you're gonna have to look somewhere else.
Watch one play of tape, and you're done. Like you turn it off. Good.
So yeah, that was an interesting situation. But this next situation, I think, is just so comical. Our guy Colin Coward's at it again, Austin. So basically, I'll set it up for you guys. Colin Coward does this segment where he's like, "All right, the top 10 Odell Beckham Jr. moments in the NFL. The number 1 was the catch." Number 2 was getting traded to the Browns, and the last 8 was all his I guess I don't know what you call it, like proposing to the net. Yeah, well, it was on the some of it was on the field too. Proposing to the net was on there. Fighting the net was on there. The diva stuff, yeah, the diva stuff. Fighting with Josh Norman was on there. What else was on there? Oh, the boat picture, the infamous boat picture where they're with like 20 guys and they hadn't won a game since then. So, basically, that's what Colin did. He does his top 10 list of all these moments of Odell's career, and like none of it was football related except for the catch. And so then Odell just rips into this man on Twitter. I mean, he attacks his ratings, he attacks his personal life, he attacks all of his analogies about divorce. He does all this stuff. He goes in on him on Twitter. Baker helps out a little bit, and so my opinion on it is, I'll give my opinion on this real quick. Colin, because apparently they had a phone conversation a couple years back about how like Colin said something about him and they talked on the phone and they were good, but now, obviously now they're not good. So my opinion on it is this. Colin's mostly right. I mean, Odell is obviously a top 5 talented receiver in the NFL. There's no question about that. No one's debating that. But, I mean, honestly, think about it, guys. When we're talking about Odell, I mean, how much of it's football related? How much of it, I mean, when we're talking about it, when we're off air, we're talking about him, punching a net where, Austin's tagging me in this kind of stuff on Facebook. No one's tagging me in like Austin. Think about this. When we're talking about DeAndre Hopkins, when you tag me in something DeAndre Hopkins, it's about how many, drop passes he had, which is 0. When we're tagging something Odell Beckham Jr., it's something that's a meme, and it's something making fun of Odell. It's like we're not really talking about his on-the-field performance. So Colin's right in that instance. But where he was wrong is simply the fact that he didn't give enough credit to Odell's on-the-field performance, because Odell is an absolute monster on the field. He's a top 5 receiver, and with Baker, he's gonna have a good career in my opinion.
See, what he needs to do though, Odell, this year, he needs to put all that stuff behind him and not get so frustrated. Or if you get frustrated, just don't show it as much as he did, like fighting the net or anything. Like, just go cool off on the bench, because I mean, if you look at some of these players in the NFL, past or present, like you've seen them get frustrated, but it's very minimal. It's very minimal the way they show it. But I mean, like him, he just needs to, stop having, off the field drama, on the field drama. Just needs to get out there and play football. And this is another thing. There was a a thing online or on Sports Center or something where it was talking about Odell misses the second, practice or of OTAs or something like that, and it's like, okay. And like, why is this news? Why is this hitting on my news feed? Don't bother with it. They said he made the first day, but he was absent the second day. Well, something could have happened. Okay, like he could have had a family issue. Nobody, mentioned that. It's just like, oh, he didn't care enough to show up. Well, first, it's not mandatory. Second, it shouldn't be newsworthy. The only reason it's newsworthy is because of what he did in the past, just diva stuff. But I mean, I think this year he needs to just worry about playing football, get all that behind him. That way, so don't need to worry about that. And then Colin Coward, we need to have a topic on our thing about how about him, his top 5 moments. Oh, making fun of people, not having people on the show to argue his comments. Like, we can go on and on. So
yeah,
Colin Coward, boo, and Odell Beckham Jr. Let's lift him up a little bit.
All right, Dakota, what you think?
I think Colin did exactly what he wanted to do. I think doing that, he knew it would spark that. So it got him tons of views, got people all over his Twitter, all over social media. It got him. It got him. He
proved Colin right a little bit how Odell responded.
Yeah, he did. That's true. And I think that's exactly what he was going for. And he knew Odell would bite. But I think Austin brought up a very good point about the way the media knows that Odell has that history, so any little thing they can do to get his name out there, and it's not even him doing anything crazy, like not going to a mandatory, like it was a mandatory, like OTAs are not, especially right now, like he's not missing training camp, like he missed non-mandatory OTA, and they make that where it's publicizing him to make people talk about him more. So like the media is really taking that over. I thought that was a very good point, but I think that like Austin too with like putting behind him, but I think Baker could be the difference maker for him, and in this fact that. With the Giants, no one else on that team had anywhere near as much as emotion as he did. Like, he wants to win. Like, that's obvious. Yeah. He hates losing. He hates it. And now he has a guy in Baker that hates it just as much as he does. And now it's like he won't have all this. Like, Baker's going to have his moments, but he's a lot better at containing it. And I think Baker could teach him that. And I think Baker showing his emotion means that Odell won't have to as much. Like, he has somebody else on his team. Like, he has more people around him that care about winning now. Like that helps. That helps a lot.
Yeah, I agree with that point completely. I think Baker will help him out because Baker's the kind of, first of all, Baker's a leader. We know Baker's a leader, and Baker's going to defend Odell. And I think the good thing that came out of the Twitter thing was Baker defending Odell on Twitter, just because he didn't get into it he didn't go in like Odell went in. He just had a little response. He's standing up for his teammate. I think Baker will show Odell love, and that's good because I think Odell was an outcast in New York. And me and Austin talked about this the other week, Dakota. I think there needed to be more blame on the Giants about the Odell situation than Odell on the Odell situation. Because think about this. When has Odell gotten in trouble off the field? Name one time. Never. He's never, not a single time has he gotten in trouble off the field. It's always been just antics. You know what I'm saying? Just antics like fighting the net, fighting Josh Norman. There's never been a legal issue with Odell Beckham Jr. I can't think of one. So you know what that tells me? It's something that can be contained. Like you can't contain Josh Norman Josh Gordon from going to smoke pot. You can't do that as an organization. He's going to go smoke pot no matter what. But Odell Beckham Jr., you can contain his on the field, it's emotion. It's just pure emotion for the game. Like you say, Baker has that pure emotion for the game. He's an emotional guy. They're both emotional guys. And yes, there might be some fights at time, but there's always going to be that in the NFL, in an NFL locker room. And I think they'll work it out. And winning cures all, man. If they win, it cures everything. Everybody's feeling good. All the positive emotion that will happen. If they win, they're in a good spot.
Yeah, I think one of the big differences too will be, like you said about containing locker room. I think Dorsey will do a much better job of that than Gettleman did. Same thing with Freddie Kitchens too, because Freddie Kitchens has been very he seems like a stern dude that's like, this is what we're gonna do, and we're not. This is the path we're on. Like, get in or get off. Like, this is it. And I think they'll do a much better job of containing that than Gettleman and Shermer did, for sure.
I think you're right about that. All right. All right, so do you have anything else on that topic, Austin?
No.
All right, cool. So we're going to move on to our division picks. All right, does everybody have their picks ready?
Yep.
All right. All right. Well, okay. So let's do it like this. Let's start out with AFC North and we'll each go to AFC North and we'll name our AFC North team and we'll kind of give our little reason why we think they're going to win it and we can debate it and whatnot. And then we'll go on from there. We'll go to South, West, East, and then we'll go North, South, West, East for NFC. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Sir.
All right. All right. Let's do AFC North. I have the Cleveland Browns. Listen, now this was not easy for me because I think, unlike maybe somebody else in this podcast, I think the Steelers have a very good chance of winning the North this year simply because of Mike Tomlin's a good head football coach. Even though Big Ben's on the decline, I think their offense will still be really good, and all the drama's out of Pittsburgh now. Pittsburgh, you can never say they're not a bad ran organization. They're like the San Antonio Spurs of the. I mean, if the Patriots aren't the San Antonio Spurs, the Steelers are the San Antonio Spurs of the NFL. Just the way they run the organization, they don't have drama most of the time. So I think, but with that being said, Cleveland's offense is just too good, man. Jarvis Landry, Odell Beckham Jr., the tight end, David Njoku. I mean, they have so much talent on the offensive end, and they have defensive talent. I think the Browns, if they fit the scheme of the defensive players, if they play man coverage for Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward, then they will win the division. There's no question about it.
Dude, this is the only division that I was like, oh man, okay, yeah, there's one team, but then like there's two other teams on here that's close. Like this is the only division I'd say that I had the hardest time. Well, not the hardest time picking, but saying that a lot of these are closer than any of the other division. Number one, I'm taking the Browns. Second comes the Steelers and Ravens. Both of I don't know, Ravens still young. They got Lamar Jackson, so it's still kind of iffy there. Bengals, dude, why are they even a team right now? So I don't know. But Browns for sure, all the way. Browns.
I agree. Got Browns at number one. I know who you're pointing out when you're talking about the Steelers. I still have them at two. I think the drama thing's a good point, but I just don't see it happening. Like with talent like Le'Veon and Antonio, you literally had arguably the best receiver and best running back on your team. You couldn't get it done. You just couldn't.
And it's questionable. That's questionable
and then
for sure.
I have the Ravens at three because I personally not a huge. Lamar is going to decline. Like
he's going to decline.
He's not a quarterback for one.
I completely.
But then
agree.
the Bengals are the Bengals though, so they're last because the Ravens at least they always have good defense. But yeah, so I think we're agreeing in that order there then.
I agree with y'all's list completely as far as that division is concerned. I think Lamar's taking a huge step back this season. I think the Ravens actually are going to win less than 8 games. I'm predicting 6 to 7 games. And we'll get into those predictions closer to the season, like actual win predictions. But I agree with y'all's list top to bottom there. So the AFC South, we're going to have some debate in this one. We have a Colts fan and a Titans fan in here, so we'll see how it goes.
Oh, man, but mine was unbiased as hell. I'll tell you that.
Well, I think mine's unbiased, but also biased because I have my Colts winning the division. I think we will win the division this season. I think if Andrew Luck's healthy, then we always have the upper hand in the division as it stands right now. As far as the rest of the division is concerned, I think it's very tough. I actually think the Jags are going to run second. But it's going to be close. It's not going to be a big win difference in win totals in this division. It's going to be like 7, 8, 9 games. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah. It's going to be a very close division. I think Titans are number 2 or number 3, excuse me, but it's right there. Titans and Jags, they're close because they're both talented rosters and they're both more talented than the Texans roster. No matter what people tell you, the Texans are going number 4 this season. Their offensive line is going to be the worst in the NFL. Their secondary is going to be complete garbage. And the Texans have no chance to win the division this season. Mark it down because Deshaun Watson, I mean, he's unlike what people said a couple years ago, he's not an MVP candidate in my opinion. So that's my division for AFC South.
Nobody's talking about MVP candidate right now. They're talking about the Texans and who they have right now. Did everybody get traded that they're dead last in the? No, I don't think so. Dude, you think they're going to go 11-5 last year? And go like 1 and whatever the next year. No, it ain't happening, dude. No. And then one thing.
All right, let's hear your list.
The Jags, okay. I forgot about that. But I don't care. Okay, I don't care.
You got to win the division.
Listen, you're right. Colts number 1.
Thank
I
you.
agree with.
Thank
Okay.
Thank you.
Number 2, Texans. Okay. But here's the thing: Texans
We'll
and
see.
Titans, though. Titans did some good offensive moves for the draft and all that. I think the Titans will be better than they did last year.
Especially if
But
Brian
so I'm gonna
Tannehill plays.
I'm gonna go Colts, and then I'm gonna go Texans and Titans. Those are gonna be my two that are tied. It's kind of hard with both of those. And then Jags.
All right, well, I agree. Colts are in the division. Andrew Luck's healthy. It's their division to lose. I'm basing that purely off who's the best coach right now. It's Frank Reich, and who's the best quarterback. It's about a 60-mile gap.
Yeah.
But and arguably, Big Nick is the second best. But anyway, I have Texans at 2 too.
Wow.
The main reason why is I can't bet against J.J. Watt and Jadeveon, and I can't bet against D-Hop. Like I
D-Hop is the best receiver in the NFL. I'll give you that.
Deshaun Watson isn't like the answer there. He's not. But they have so much talent right now.
That offensive line ain't talented.
No, it's
that
not.
offensive
It was
line
last year very well either.
Bumps.
But like they get the job done, and this division, I swear, it could literally. Besides the Colts being at 1, maybe they go to 2. Worst case scenario. This division could almost flip upside down. It really could.
It could, yeah.
For me, though, 3, I have the Jags.
Wow, got your Titans going number 4.
Here's why, okay? I think Nick Foles will make a big difference for the Jags. But here's the thing, like this is like Titans and Jags. Like I think they all could end up 500 above. Like you got 8-8 there, Texans 9-7, Colts 10-6, 11-5.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a close division.
But the thing is for the Titans too is that we can't beat the Texans. That's something they just cannot do. Incapable of it. And now the Jags have a quarterback.
They can't beat Andrew Luck.
We can't beat Andrew Luck. We can't win in the division. We have besides the Jags.
That's true.
Titans, there was the year in 2016 where we went 9-7. And we beat, I guess, 6 of the 12 playoff teams. Like, of our 9 wins, 6 of them were playoff teams. But we couldn't beat the Colts or the Texans. You just can't do it. And I think the biggest difference would be Vrabel. I don't think he's the answer. I don't think he's a very good head coach. Mariota is just made of glass, and he's not the answer. And Tannehill, I think, will help. He'll help us win games when he's hurt. But
yeah.
When
he's inevitably hurt.
Yeah. Week 3 at best.
Yeah, at best.
But I just think the division is too tough, and we cannot win inside of it. And we have to. Aren't we playing the AFC West this year?
Yeah, AFC West.
That does not help at all either. Like
no,
it
really doesn't.
Chargers, even the Broncos, like that's not going to help. Like I just don't think the Titans can do it. So I think the Colts, Texans, Jags, Titans, but it is arguably the best division. It's going to be the tightest, probably.
Yeah. It's a tight division. I think you're right about that. And I think that's the Titans' problem, man. They're a head coach and quarterback away from maybe winning the division, but that's the 2 most important things.
Talent.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I'll say it without I'm not even afraid to say this. The Titans have the most talented roster in the division. And I think that's easily debatable, but I think they have the most talented roster in the division, but they're lacking a quarterback and a head coach that can get the job done.
Which is
the most important. Great GM, but head coach and quarterback not there.
This is an interesting division we have up, AFC West. I think this was an easy pick for me, and it's just simple for me. It's not even a question. It's the LA Chargers. It's the LA Superchargers. They're going to win the division, and I don't. Austin, you can roll your head all you want. Tyreek Hill absence is going to be huge for Patrick Mahomes, and the LA Chargers have the most talented roster in the NFL. Top to bottom, they have the most talent in the NFL. It's not even a question. Don't ask me about postseason success because I'm not taking Phillip Rivers as my quarterback at postseason success. We're talking about division winners right now, and it's going to be the LA Chargers, no question about it. Number 2, obviously, is going to be the Chiefs because Patrick Mahomes might be the most talented quarterback in the NFL right now. And number 3, probably the Broncos. I'll probably go Broncos, and then 4 Raiders. Austin, what?
I'll go then so he can recover from that because he's not gonna like mine either. Because I have the Chargers winning the division as well.
It's gotta be.
It's because of Tyreek. Like the Chiefs are gonna miss those guys, and Patrick Mahomes isn't necessarily gonna regress, but he's not gonna throw 50 touchdowns again. Like you just know. Yeah. You don't do that in back-to-back.
It's natural regression.
And the thing that I think is going to be the biggest problem for them is they spent all that money on Frank Clark, which was questionable to me.
Oh,
when
God.
you basically had the same guy on your team. But
Yeah.
the problem for me is their secondary is atrocious. Like they got
It's
Tyrann
atrocious.
Mathieu, and after that, and he's more of a tackler than he is a coverage guy anyway.
Yeah, he's a
And
box
when
safe.
they can like the Charger like when they get to the playoffs, like they're gonna get lit up. But like on the way there, teams that have great passing games, they're gonna struggle against. And I don't think they're gonna be able to put up anywhere near as many points now if they don't have Tyreek and Kareem, because they still had Kareem for a good portion of the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
And I just don't see that. And then they'll still finish second though. Like
Chiefs
the
for sure.
division's just rough. Here's my bold prediction for this one though. I'm just going to go on a limb and say Mike Mayock and John Gruden know what they're doing. And I say it's
All
close, though. Like maybe tied record-wise, but the
I
Raiders
really didn't
finished
think
three.
that one through, so I can see the Raiders
Yeah,
finishing
Raiders
third
3,
in that division.
and then the Broncos 4, mainly because now you have all that drama in Denver anyway with Flacco and
Sure.
Locke too. Like you don't,
Yeah.
and they've lost a lot of talent offensively. Like there's not much.
They're bad
And
offensively.
defensively,
They're
they got
so
Vaughn
bad.
and stuff, but their defense is falling apart too. But like I think that's super close. Like they could be tied. But I got Chargers, Chiefs, Raiders, Broncos.
Okay. All right, Austin, let's hear
Chiefs,
it.
Chargers, Raiders, Broncos.
you got a reason the Chiefs are winning the division?
Also, Chargers were good this year. Okay, but nobody talked about them. Like I didn't hear anything about them until the playoffs, but nobody talked about them. I think this year they're not going to be as good as they did last year. I mean, that's just the thing. Chiefs, yeah, no Tyreek Hill and no 50-plus touchdowns, but he's still going to get the job done. I mean, simple
He's
as
the best
that.
quarterback
And then,
in the
of course,
division.
the Raiders
Oh yeah.
with Antonio Brown there, what John Gruden's doing for the team, I think they'll go over the Broncos. Broncos last.
Broncos last. All right.
I mean, we can see literally the same thing as last year, though. Like they tied record-wise.
Yeah.
The Chiefs Chargers did, and it came down to the division record. So I mean, that could happen again. That could be the deciding factor.
Easily. All right. So we have a little disagreement in that division. What about the East? The East is, if you don't pick this division winner, you're obvious.
Easy,
Dolphins,
bro. We don't talk about the rest.
Easy. It's Patriots winning the division, man. Patriots winning the division. Yeah, it doesn't even matter, honestly. Yeah. They're all horrible. I think the Bills will finish second, honestly, if I had to guess, just because the Jets' dysfunction. And then it'll be Jets and then Dolphins, because the Dolphins are
Dolphins and Jets.
The Dolphins are competing the worst roster in the NFL at this point. The Dolphins have a terrible roster, and they have to rebuild around Josh Rosen. Honestly, but what's the discussion, man? The Patriots are winning the division. It doesn't even matter.
I'll disagree. I think the Jets finished second. I know the dysfunction is happening, but I still just think they have enough talent to do better. Because defensively, that defensive line is terrifying now. With Leonard Williams, Quinnen Williams up there, they're stacked up there. And the Bills-wise, they just did not get protection for Josh Allen. Like the dude's gonna get hurt. Like he can't throw if you don't give him time to throw. And I just think talent-wise, the Jets are a little bit better. Now that'll be that's still super close right there. But I think that's the deciding factor there. And then the Dolphins, tank for Tua. But even though they have Rosen now, it's like you draw what is I don't know what their that makes things more interesting because everybody thought Dolphins were the guaranteed team to get Tua, and they're obviously finishing last in that division. Their talent non-existent. Best receivers is Kenny Stills even still there? Is he their best receiver? If so,
I don't even.
They just made Xavier Howard the highest paid corner in the league too. So
which is questionable. So yeah, I think that division is pretty simple. I mean, I think the debate is Bills or Jets, and it's probably going to be close. And it probably will end up being the Jets. Now that I think about it, but it'll depend. It'll depend if the Jets are gonna be dysfunctional all season or not.
I'm curious. What's your the seeds for them?
The seeds? Yeah, we have to do wild card.
Yeah, you could do the seeds for what you think the teams winning each division where they finish.
So I think the Chargers will be the first seed. The Patriots will be the second seed. The Colts will be the third seed. The Browns will be the fourth seed. And I think the wild card teams are going to be the Chiefs. Obviously, Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. They're going to be the fifth seed. And the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be the sixth seed. What do you got, Austin?
Dude, I don't even know. I almost agree with you there. Besides the Chiefs and the Chargers, I know both of them are going to be in it. I agree with all the teams that you said. All of them are going to be in it. I just don't know, which seed or whatnot. But all of them are definitely going to be in that for sure.
Okay, so we have same wild cards
Yeah,
and whatnot.
our seeds are the exact same: Chargers, Patriots, Colts, Browns, and then I have the Chiefs at 5. But my difference is, I mean, until he proves me wrong, I have to put the Texans, just Texans at 6, which gives us a rematch
Ah,
of the Colts
Oh
Texans. But
my
this time
gosh.
it's in Indy, and Texans don't even have a shot in hell beating them. So I
Let
just
me
don't
just tell
believe in the
y'all.
Steelers, man. I just
Let
don't.
me just tell y'all something. The Texans are fighting for the lottery next season. If we're going to do a draft lottery, they're fighting for it next season. I'm telling you, they're winning. They're probably winning 6 games. I'm guessing 6.
Well, two
That's my early
guaranteed against the
prediction.
Titans. So
All right, so let's move on to the NFC. We got the NFC North. We're gonna have some disagreement in this division. I can already tell.
man,
All I can say is the winner's on Austin's hat and in his background. I'm not betting against the bad man, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is gonna take the division back this year. Listen, when it comes to who's gonna win the division, I like to look who's the best quarterback in the division. It's gonna be Aaron Rodgers. I don't care what's around him. Aaron Rodgers is gonna get it done.
dude, I like it. I hope it's true. To be honest, honestly, uh, the Bears did good last year. Packers only finished third, but I think the Bears. I don't know. See, it's between the Bears and the Packers. Bears did really good last year. They have a good defense, an okay average offense. Defense is what's going to get it done for that team versus anything else, I think. I will probably go with Packers just because they're my team, but the Bears are. I mean, if
Number two,
anybody's going to push
easily.
them off, it's going to be the
The
Bears.
Bears.
Um,
Yep.
Everything else is a joke in that. But
The
Packers,
Vikings are gonna
Bears.
fall off next year.
Oh yeah, they're dysfunctional. It's horrible.
Yeah, well, because they have Kirk Cousins, the guy who can't win on prime time.
Shit.
All right, Dakota, what you got?
yeah, this one was one of the hardest ones because I think
It was
the
hard.
Vikings drop off, but their defense is still really good. Like Kirk is useless in prime time. Like you might as well just put a sack of potatoes out there and tell them to win you the ball game. But
Might as
their
well.
defense keeps them in it, and they still have two, like arguably the best wide receiver duo in the league
Yeah.
with
Yeah,
Thielen
probably.
and Diggs.
And Diggs,
And
yeah.
so I just think the division itself is really tough. Like the Lions, regardless, like I feel like if you put the Lions and put them in like some other crappy division, like if you put them in the AFC East, they honestly may make the playoffs. Like
Yeah,
if you take out like the Dolphins and put them in there, the Jets, and then they replace them, like the division's talented. But I take
it
Packers.
is talented.
Not betting against Aaron Rodgers. They're winning it.
Yeah, yeah,
It'll be interesting to see him with yeah, with Lafleur,
yeah.
how they mesh together. But like he's pretty
Mhm.
much an offensive genius. And then I got the Bears, the Vikings, and Lions.
I completely agree with that
Same.
ordering too. Yeah, I think that division it's going to be interesting. It's going to be one of the more talented divisions in the NFL next year. But this division is also a very interesting division, the NFC South. So I have Saints, the number one. Obviously, they're the most talented team, probably the second most talented team in the NFL behind the Chargers. Um, but then it gets a little dicey here. I got Falcons second, and then I got Panthers 3, and then obviously the Jameis Winston and the Bucks are 4.
100% agree with you there. Saints, they're getting unlucky with the playoffs and stuff like that, but they are arguably one of the best teams in the league right now. Um, and I mean they've continued to be that for the last few years. But 100% agree. The rest of the division isn't that good. They're okay, but Saints all the way. No problem.
I agree too. I do. I think the only one that's questionable is Panthers and Falcons. Like they're
Yeah.
kind of even there. They're both fighting for playoff spots, but I take my money with Matt Ryan and with Dan Quinn more than I take it with Rivera. And I mean Rivera almost got fired. Like
Yeah,
he's not like.
exactly.
And I think the biggest difference for this season for the Falcons will be that their defense, like literally their two best defensive players, Deion Jones
Are
and Keanu
back.
Neal, were both hurt. Like
Yeah.
it's the reason they lost games. So like I think that'd be big. But Saints like
No
just put it
question,
down.
number one.
They're there.
And so this next division is also very interesting. Honestly, NFC is always interesting. It could be different every year, and I was really on the fence about this division. I was like, "Oh man, I don't know about this." I've got the Rams winning it again, just because they have Cooper Kupp coming back. They didn't lose anybody. They have the best player in the NFL, Aaron Donald. I'm gonna take the Rams, and then after that, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna take the Seahawks, obviously, because Russell is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. And then after that, look at me.
Oh,
I've got
dude, don't
Kyler
do it.
Murray's
Don't do it.
Cardinals at number 3. I got Kyler Murray's Cardinals at number 3, and Jimmy Garoppolo's 49ers are stinking up the joint at number 4. Mark it down. The Cardinals are getting it done. Number 3. They're not making. They're not making the playoffs, but they are
they're
going
not.
to be third in the division. They're going to be third in the division. Austin, you want to follow
Go
up
ahead,
on that?
Austin.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Rams number 1, Seahawks, Cardinals, and 49ers. I think with the Cardinals though, like this is the year for them to experiment, see what talent they have, what they need to work on, who they need to get, who they need to switch around, see what they can do differently or better. I want to say this is they're rebuilding and they're rebuilding pretty good, I'd have to say. But yeah, I'm gonna take them third. Jimmy Garoppolo, I don't know what people see in him, but I mean, 49ers trash. They've been trash for a while, but yeah, 100% agree.
I mean,
All right.
obviously Rams are winning it, Seahawks too, but 49ers, Cardinals. Here's the thing. The Cardinals had the number 1 overall pick because their roster was the worst in the NFL. And all they did was had a bunch of rookies who've yet to play in the NFL. And
You're
I
right
just
about that.
don't believe in this group of rookies with a head coach who's never coached in the NFL showing
Right.
up and just finishing third in the division. I just don't see it happening.
We'll
I don't
see.
think it'll be like a gap between them very much. Like I think
Yeah.
that they may surprise
It'll
me
be close. Yeah.
than I expect. I don't believe in them.
But you believe in trash. They're like the Walmart brand of trash cans
Dude,
versus
the
the
49ers,
Cardinals,
their
which is
defense,
like
though,
hefty,
the
bro.
49ers defense is sneaky good is the thing. Like the thing is last year they had C.J. Beathard starting for half the season. Like they just needed a decent quarterback, and Jimmy Garoppolo can game manage them to wins. But their defensive line is absolutely stacked now. They have a good linebacking core. Then they have Richard Sherman. Like their secondary is not like they've just got like Jaquiski Tartt's not terrible too. Like their team's not bad. I'm taking the experience of them over. Like the Cardinals could surprise me in a few years. Like I will eat my words completely on Kyler and them. I just don't know if they're ready. Like the team was just so bad last year. And like
You're right
the group
about
of
that.
rookies having to turn that around immediately with a new coach is just asking a lot. Like maybe the 49ers go like maybe they tie at like 5-11 or something like that. Like they're right there.
See, yeah, I'm not saying that they'll get turned around this year.
No, I'm not either.
Yeah, I mean,
They'll
I
do
just don't
better than they did last year.
Well, yeah, I agree
That's
with
why
that. I
I'm
just think
saying.
the 49ers will still slightly outdo them. I just believe in the experience a little bit more than I believe
But
in the Rams.
yeah, I see that. It's going to be close with them too, so that'll be
I mean,
interesting.
it won't matter with the rest of the division.
Especially with the 49ers defense, seeing what Richard Sherman, and the rest of that team can do. I'm really looking forward to them and the Seahawks. That'd be nice. But, I see where you're coming from there. But
the 49ers offense, too, also, like, I wish they would have done better with receivers. I think Jalen Hurd will be huge. But last year, too, not only did Jimmy Garoppolo go down, but they also lost Jerick McKinnon. He was supposed to be their starting running back, and he went down immediately, too. So, like, they really had to deal with injuries last year pretty badly.
You're
so
right
I just
about
think
that.
they'll be better with that.
It'll be interesting to see that division. It's going to be a good division. It's another very talented division in the NFL, honestly.
And Long's young still, too. Like, Russell's like the oldest one in there, and he's still pretty young. Like,
yeah. So then we have the East, and the East is kind of it's always a close division, but it's not that interesting to me. I don't really care for it all that much.
No.
I've got the Eagles winning it. They're one of the most talented teams in the NFL, top to bottom. If Carson's healthy, I think he'll get it done. Number 2, I guess I'll go to the Cowboys. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Cowboys number 2. Honestly, the division kind of sucks. It's probably the worst division in the NFL. And then I'll have the Giants number 3, and then the Redskins number 4. Yeah, just because. If Daniel Jones plays, I'll take the Giants to the number 4. but if Eli's in, I'll take him number 3.
Dude, so I agree with you with the Eagles. I like them. Carson Wentz healthy. I like them. they're still pretty good for the entire division. I don't know what people see in the Cowboys besides Cowboys fans. Like it's just a joke. Every year's their year. Every year they so, I don't know about that, but then after the Cowboys, I think it's gonna go with the Redskins. Um, I like Dwayne Haskins in that situation. I think they're gonna be better than the Giants. The Giants, they're dysfunctional. I mean,
Very
they,
dysfunctional.
they literally have no clue what's going on. They don't know what's gonna happen the next day. So
Yeah.
um, I think that's what I'm gonna go with: Eagles, Cowboys, Redskins, and Giants.
Or we agree top two. Like Eagles are winning it. Cowboys at 2. Honestly, the more he talks about it, the more I kind of want to put the Redskins at 3, but I put the Giants at 3 just because a Saquon can carry them to wins. I mean, they're going to lack. Not having Odell is going to make a huge difference there. I think
That's
their
true.
draft was pretty decent, though. They had a decent draft outside of Daniel Jones. But the Redskins, it's not so much that I don't believe in Dwayne right off the bat, but I feel like the Redskins lack a little bit of talent around him. And like their best running backs coming back. Like, I love Darius Guice too. Like if Darius Guice comes back and plays like he will help Dwayne out a lot. Because Darius can be a very good running back in the NFL. I just think it's going to take a little bit of time, but I can still see them finishing third. Like it's going to be close between them. Like it
will
shock
be
me at
close.
all. If they finish third, it wouldn't shock me.
Me neither. I agree. All right, so let's do our seeding real quick. I think my wild card will interest you guys. So I think I'm taking Saints with the first seed. I'm taking Eagles with the second seed. I'm taking the Rams with the third seed, and then I'm taking the Packers with the fourth seed. And then I'm going to take the Bears with the fifth seed, and the Atlanta Falcons with the sixth seed.
All right.
All right. So I can see that there until the end. It started getting a little fuzzy. But number one is for sure Saints. I think anybody in the right mind that watches football knows it's the Saints. Second, you're right, is the Rams. Who'd you have at third?
I had Eagles.
I thought you had Eagles at 2.
Oh, no, I did have Eagles at 2.
Yeah,
I did have Eagles at 2. And then Rams at 3.
Okay. Yeah. Eagles no to it, Eagles. Rams. I could see Eagles going number 3. I'm gonna say Eagles. I'm actually gonna say Packers 3, Bears 4th, Eagles 5th.
Well, Bears can't be 4th if the Packers win the division. They can have the 4th best record, but they can't be 4th in the seeding.
You're right. All right, so Packers, Eagles, Bears.
Packers, Eagles, Bears. Okay. So who's your 6th seed? Who's your other wild card team?
That's hard. I'll probably go with dude. I'm gonna go Seahawks. I'm gonna go Seahawks.
I almost went Seahawks.
All right. I mean, those are interesting. I like this. Is the NFC is gonna be insane. Like the NFC. I think it's more debatable. Saints at 1. That's not even a question. Their talent. Alvin Kamara is the GOAT. So. But I have the Rams still at 2. I think the Rams are just. I just think they're Aaron Donald is so they're it's hard to bet against them. The Todd Gurley injury could, if he is really injured though, that could play a role. Yeah. And the difference between the 3 and 4 for me, I have the Eagles at 3 and the Packers at 4, just because the Packers division is much harder. So to get 3 seed will be hard.
Well, Eagles have more talent too, though.
Yeah.
Eagles do have more talent as far as defense
That's
concerned.
True too. I just think Aaron Rodgers, Here's where things are interesting though. Which is funny. I'm surprised you didn't do this because you weren't a very big believer in the Bears. I don't have them making the playoffs next year.
Wow. I just think the defense is just too good.
But I think I don't know.
They lost key parts though.
They did, and I don't think they addressed some of that. Like they lost Eddie
Amos,
and they lost.
No, they didn't. No. They have Eddie still. They lost Amos, and they also lost their corner.
I think that the Bears are interesting because I think it's going to be one of those situations where we see a second-year head coach slightly regress because he did so well in his first year. I think not having Jordan Howard is going to play a bigger role than they think. I love the David Montgomery pick to replace him, but he was such a it's quiet work. Like fantasy-wise, you don't want to touch him. Like,
Yeah.
he's going to get 900 hard-earned yards. He's going to pound the rock. And now you
Yeah.
have to replace that. Tariq's not a 3-down back. He's just not.
No.
And I just, the division's tough too. Like, with the Packers having Aaron Rodgers healthy the whole season next year, it's going to make it harder for them to finish as well as they did.
Yeah.
So I don't have them making the playoffs because of that. Like, they'll still maybe, like, it's going to be tight. The fight for 5, 6, and then 7, 8 is going to be insane.
Yeah.
5, I have the Seahawks.
I'll have
And
Seahawks.
the reason why is that Russell's missed the playoffs once in his career. And
Yeah.
it's hard to bet
it's
against
hard to
them.
bet against Russell Wilson. That's no
It
question
is.
about
I
that.
just have them at 5. I think that they can. Their division's a little bit worse below them too, with the 49ers and Cardinals, to get a better record. And over the team that I have at 6, which I agree with you, is the Falcons. I have the Falcons at 6. I think Matt Ryan, Dan Quinn, they went to the Super Bowl and then players got injured and stuff, but I think that they'll get back to the playoffs at least next year. And then, which gives interesting matchups for that, because I'd have Falcons at Eagles and then Seahawks at Packers which would be a really rematch. That would be an interesting.
NFC playoffs are going to be some good games, man. And I think we all agree that it's definitely a three-way race for the wild card in the NFC. I think it has to be Bears, Seahawks, and Falcons. I think those 3 teams are going to be right there in the playoff picture. So yeah, that's interesting. I think we'll revisit this closer to the season because like there'll be injuries and stuff like that, and I'll probably change my mind a couple of things. So, yeah. Anyways, that's pretty good podcast, guys. Pretty awesome.
All right, yeah, that was good having Dakota on the show.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yes.
Fun.
All right, man.
All right, later.
Later, y'all.